Good evening. When I spoke to some friends about what I was thinking about telling, they said, "You're not really going to tell that story, are you?" I said, "Yes, I am." So, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. When I meet somebody from Philadelphia, the conversation usually goes something like this. Where are you from? Philly. So was I. What neighborhood? Or what section? The Northeast. So was I. What neighborhood? Mayfair. So was I. And you even go into detail where you go, what parish? St. Matt's. So was I. So we kind of have a little bond and see how close you can get to that. And you find out what street and everything else, and you start talking about old times. And growing up, I remember with all the row homes in Philadelphia, which the realtors now refer to as townhouses. If you can get on a house at one end of the corner and walk across all the roofs to the other end, they're row homes. It was the greatest day in a child's life for that year because with all the baby boomers, it was just a tsunami of kids just going from one house to the other, up and down the steps, over the railings, through the porches, over the hedges, just to get candy, as much candy as you can get. And on one side, there could be 25 homes, and then you hit that for a couple more blocks, and you cross over to the other side. And then with my brothers and I, we had our Halloween bags reinforced with shopping bags from the store because of the weight of the candy. And we'd come back and we'd divide the kitchen table into quadrants so that our candy was right here, and keep your candy on your side, and then maybe make some trades. The only thing is, in Philadelphia, that's where the Gutenberg peanut chews are, and everybody liked the Gutenberg peanut chews. They gave it out. Out here, I go out with my kids, I can't find one peanut chew. So what I do is I buy that for Halloween candy so that with a few people we get, we know we're always going to have leftovers. So we would have a couple trips, in, unload, go out again, and going to the Catholic school, we'd have off the next day from school, so we could stay out later until all the neighbors had their lights off. And we'd go anywhere. Pizza City, they divided a pizza for 8 slices into about 50. It was like 10 inches long by 1 inch. So you know what the roof of your mouth is like when you bite into that hot cheese and you get that long strip burning the roof of your mouth. Anything that was open. The bakeries, you'd get cake and cookies, and whatever was open, you'd be going in just to get a lollipop. And then my older brothers got too old. They were in high school. They decided not to go trick-or-treating anymore. And my mom always had her sewing machine, and she'd say, well, tell me what you want for Halloween, or costume, because it's getting close. Because Mom never bought a Halloween costume in a box from the store. We made them. And, you know, nothing politically correct. We didn't even know what that term was back then. You were bums, you were hobos. I have incriminating photos of my older brothers dressed up as ladies. And so then in school, I see this book, history book. So I open it up. And Mom goes, what do you want to be? That looks like a good costume. You sure? Yeah. Because the teachers never got to the end of the book throughout the school year. And I figured they weren't going to be teaching us about the Civil War. So I said, that looks like a good costume. Because in Mayfair, in Northeast Philly, in St. Matt's, it was an Irish community. So plenty of your classmates' names began with O, Mick, or Mac. If your last name ended with S-K-I, you were the minority. Now, if I lived in Port Richmond on the Polish section, maybe I wouldn't have been the minority. But maybe I would have been, because we didn't speak Polish. And you ever be in a room with people speaking another language, and nobody wants to take the time to tell you what they're talking about and to translate? You know, so I might have been left out there as well. But my mom, as good as mom as she was, and she decided, okay, this is what he wants to do. My mom got those sheets out, and she made me a Ku Klux Klan outfit. This is circa 1970 Philadelphia, okay? Setting the scene. So we had the hood, and the robes, and the cross, and the pictures had somebody carrying a cross and a noose. So for authenticity, I went around the neighborhoods, and I got comments. In the 70s, in a white Mayfair, Northeast Philly, there were nothing but positive comments. That was the time. And guys hanging out, drinking in the alleyways, hey, good costume. And we're walking around, and all of a sudden, you know, okay, my last stop. I go in a bar, because it's open. And I show up, and here's this little 12-year-old, uninformed 12-year-old, keep that in mind, back in 1970. I hear the bartender, "Hey, Al, get Charlie and the guys out of the pool room. You got to check this kid out." Okay? Nothing but positive. So, obviously, by now, going through school, and I even told my parents, I don't want to go to the Catholic school, high school. I want to go to the public high school just for diversity, because I didn't feel like being around the same people for 4 more years. I already spent 8 years with them. So looking for something different. And fortunately, hopefully you'd believe that I've learned a few things since being an uninformed 12-year-old. And so now, though, we have to explain to our son why the Confederate flag on his friends' baseball caps or T-shirts or belt buckles may not be appropriate down the southern end, where you can usually tell where the southern end is because it's usually the first sign of a Confederate flag on somebody's lawn as you're heading down below Wheeler Street. And, probably the most politically incorrect I get right now around Halloween is when you visit our house, we're the only one in the southern end that might celebrate holidays. Like on the patriotic days, we're the only ones with flags. And Halloween, we have our cemetery out front, where usually our road is very fast, the speed limit is just optional, but people now slow down for a month because they get to read the cemetery tombstones of I.P. Daly and Dr. M.I. Fine, the Dovers, Ben and Eileen, and in the back we have Carlotta Tendant, and we have Ida Slapter, and we also have Pat McGroin and Phil McCracken. So people just slow down just to read the signs. So, with my kids, they're getting out of Halloween, they're getting older, they're in high school, and I know if they suggested the costume, not only as the teacher would I say no, but I'd also explain why it might be inappropriate to be certain costumes. So, thank you very much. All right.